Thank you for bringing them. Did they give you any trouble? Good. You're dismissed. Good afternoon, love. You're looking as darling as ever. How are you feeling today? That's good. I was worried about how long it would take for you to recover from your time with the captain, but you've bounced back quite nicely. You've even stopped rubbing at your collar so much. I was worried that you were going to rub the skin raw those first few days. I'm glad you've adjusted to it. I'm sorry to have left so early this morning. One of the unfortunate aspects of being a queen is that your work is never truly done, and sometimes it demands your attention when you least expect it, or you're lonely on your own. You poor thing. I can't promise it won't happen again in the future, but I'll make sure to give you some extra attention to make up for it. Which brings me to this. I've kept you standing long enough. Why don't you take a seat? I've been wanting to do this with you for some time. Have you ever been to a tea party before, love? I thought not. Your old village didn't seem sophisticated enough, and even if they did, I doubt they would have done them properly. I'll have to teach you proper tea etiquette then. It wouldn't do for the queen's personal servant to have poor table manners. You don't need to worry. I'm more than qualified to teach you. My mother made sure I knew the proper way to take tea. She taught me so frequently that I still have dreams about our lessons. Well, maybe nightmares would be more fitting. The most important part of any tea party is the tea, of course. Loose tea is better than using a tea bag. You do have to strain it once it's done steeping, but you can't argue with the results otherwise. How long it takes to steep depends on the type of tea and how hot the water is. Ours should be just about done. Normally, a maid would pour this, but since I told staff to leave us be this afternoon, I'll do the honors. Now, how do you take your tea? Come now, there's no need to be shy. I'm not going to hurt you for having a preference. We have milk, cream, sugar cubes, and honey. I prefer my tea with honey personally, but you'd be surprised how few nobles keep it on the table. You'd like to try some with your tea? Wonderful. It's considered impolite if you stir your tea too aggressively, or if you let the spoon knock against the inside of the cup. Once you're done with the spoon, you place it on your saucer, never the table. You wouldn't want to stain the tablecloth, after all. It's apparently also impolite to blow on your tea to cool it, so I usually take some food while I wait. You're welcome to do the same. I had the kitchen send up an assortment. The sandwiches, cookies, and scones can be eaten with your hands, but you need to use a fork for the cakes. You're also supposed to not put too much on your plate, or take too large of a bite. To be honest though, love, I don't care either way. I never understood why it was seen as some terrible offense. After all, both just mean you're enjoying the food, right? These cherry cakes are my favorite. They're the perfect blend of tart and sweet, and they go wonderfully with this tea. You should try one. I have to remember to pass along my thanks to the cook. She never disappoints. You've got some crumbs on your face, love. Let me get them for you. It's important not to scrub too hard when you use a napkin. The proper way is to blot gently, like this. That should have been more than enough time for the tea to cool. Now, when you go to drink, be sure to hold the handle firmly with one hand and the saucer in the other. Some of the aristocrats like to hold their pinky out when they drink, but it's better not to. You wouldn't want to risk dropping the cup after all. I must say, you're a quick learner, love. I still remember how disastrous my first tea party lesson went. Every time I did something wrong, my mother would strike my hand with a riding crop. My knuckles were red for days after. I'll admit, I wondered if I should do the same with you, but I thought you deserved at least one chance to prove you were capable. Oh, I nearly forgot. There's one more thing you need to know about for a proper tea party: how to make polite conversation. You don't need to worry much here. Since I'm the host, it falls to me to start proper conversation. You don't even need to respond if you don't want to. You can just nod or shake your head. Does that sound good, love? See, you've already got the hang of it. Now, let's see. What would be something worth talking about? Oh, I know. Why don't I tell you how the campaign through your old kingdom is going? I'm sure you must be dying to know what happened after your former village bent the knee. Well, you'll be happy to know the campaign is going well. We actually captured a major city recently. They held out longer than expected, but they weren't equipped to stop a siege. I'll have to travel there to arrange the fealty ceremony soon. I'm going to bring you with me this time. The last one felt endless, and it was only for a small village. I'm expecting a major city like that to take much longer, and I don't think I could stand so much time away from you. Between you and me, love, I don't think it'll be long before we take the capital city. Your former ruler doesn't have much in the way of military prowess. Frankly, they should have surrendered weeks ago, if only to save themselves such an embarrassing display. It's funny. If you had been born in the capital and served in the royal military, you might have posed a serious threat to all this. You managed to organize a group of peasants into a half-decent rebel force and give my men trouble for months. Imagine what you could have done with trained soldiers. Well, I suppose there's no point in imagining it. In the end, it won't change the present. I'd love to keep this conversation going, but I have an important meeting with the captain soon. I want to know what his next move is. You'll be joining me, of course. Just because it concerns the future of my kingdom doesn't mean these meetings aren't dreadfully dull. I could use the company. Besides, I'm sure the captain will be happy to see you again. That was a lovely tea party. I certainly enjoyed myself. We'll have to have another one soon, don't you think?